we'll get moving without her then. So I will call us to order. Hear ye, hear ye. Sorry. I feel like I need a gavel or something. It needs to be like all right. So we need to do a roll call. So Jody Ellis,
Here, Royal Oak.
Denise
Here from
Rescue,
Royal Oak.
Here, Royal Oak.
Melissa Tobias,
Here, Royal Oak.
Alicia Beislan,
Here, Royal Oak.
and I'm here from Royal Oak. Boom. There we go. So next is our approval of our agenda. So we need to approve our agenda. I would entertain a motion to add Advia Credit Union's proposal to our agenda at the top.
I will make that motion.
Jody makes that motion. Second with Alicia.
Okay.
And then I'll call for the vote by your roll call. So Jody,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Alicia.
Yes.
Look at that. Government at work right here. Woohoo, go team. All right, so that would approve our agenda and add, that approves our agenda and adds our guest. Is that correct, Carol? Does that work for you?
Yes, it does. And if you're going to that agenda item next, I can share my screen with the picture and.
That would be
of what we're-
fantastic.
Okay.
I also just forwarded it to everybody in an email, just so you have that proposal in there too. Carol, or sorry, Nancy, feel free to give us a little background. You know, we could all read this, but
Sure. Yeah, so as we are Advia Credit Union, and we're headquartered in Southwest Michigan, and we have branches throughout Michigan, Illinois, and Wisconsin. And one of our newest branches that we added was about 3 years ago in Royal Oak. We added a leased space on Woodward Avenue. And we're really excited to be there. And for quite some time that we've had that space, we've noticed this particular part of the wall that we just feel like really we could contribute a little bit more to the Royal Oak community, and by adding some beauty into that space. And so just this spring, we started reviewing potential artists that do murals in your area, and we interviewed a couple, and we ended up falling upon this one that we felt like really resonated nicely with Royal Oak and brought out some of the spirit that is special to the community. And in addition, also resonating to the like the larger Detroit area. So the artist is Samar Salam, and we have some information in there, her bio. She has done quite a bit of work in the Michigan area, but I believe the closest work that she's done has been in Dearborn. So she was also very excited that this might allow her to bring some of her work into the Royal Oak area. And what it does is we feel like it does a nice job of celebrating the theaters in the area, as well as the map of the Dream Cruise, popular Dream Cruise event that occurs each year, as well as on the right is some downtown Detroit, noted buildings that are present there. And then the other unique thing about this particular piece is that with Samar, the presence of life imagery and botanical work and such is usually in her work, in her artwork. So we thought that this did a nice job of also celebrating her as an artist. So I will admit to you, this particular image right here is very, very close to the final selected image. We're still playing a little bit with the car. We definitely want it to be a muscle car, that represents one of the three main car manufacturers from Michigan. And we're playing just a little bit with the car color yet to potentially bring on some flames onto the car. But in talking with Samar, who had gone through this type of presentation before, because wholeheartedly I have not. I've never been a part of this type of request for a community before. She did say that she felt like if we could get you something that like really resonated the piece, that it would be okay if maybe we provided some final sketch to you after after the fact. So let me know if that's, not exactly the case, but so the things that we're playing with a little bit are the colors of the roses and the color and make of the car. That's the only two pieces that we're looking at, maybe considering some alternatives. However, the rest of the piece stays the same. She's hoping to start her work in June and have it done. She thinks that it'll take 5 or 6 weeks. So our goal is to have it done before the August 21st Dream Cruise this year and have some fun with it, a tent in front of the area, some unveiling, introduce the artist, do anything that we can to celebrate the arts in Royal Oak. So we'd love to partner with you all in anything that we can do for the Dream Cruise or any other event this summer to help celebrate this type of addition to the community. And then there's one final thing that we're looking to do. I don't know that I placed it or referenced it in the application, but we feel like once this mural is there, that it might provide some opportunity for some groundscape too. I'm not sure if there's a terminology for that, that would be in front of the mural on the ground, something that would bring people into the space. Of course, we have to get the permission of the owner of the building to do that as well. But something, and we're not 100% sure what that would be, but something almost like a road or something almost like a scene that we could do with a groundscape that would again pull people into this space and maybe make it something that people might want to come and get their picture taken in front of or what have you. And then at the very least, again, celebrate the spirit of Royal Oak. And then, I'm sorry, I'll keep talking. One more final thing is that we're looking to do and seek approval, of course, from the municipality as well as the building owner, is to see if there's some light type of nighttime lighting that we might be able to, with approval, shine up on the building a little bit so that in the evening when people are driving by, as long as it's not too obtrusive to passersby, that they might be able to see the artwork in the evening.
Nancy, we can't thank you enough for bringing in a proposal like this to our
Yeah.
committee, because our goal is to encourage and support arts and culture in the city of Royal Oak. And just to, I know I emailed you this, but I'll say it here just because you never know. Maybe somebody watches this video and gets inspired. So our body here, our goal is to basically assess that this isn't a sign, if that
right.
makes sense, and that it's
Mhm.
art, and that it speaks about our community. And then we make a recommendation to the city commission. It goes on their agenda. Potentially could make it on their agenda in a week and a half or 2 weeks, or I forget what the next date is, but and then from there, you guys paint a mural, which is fantastic.
All right,
So
sounds good.
thank you.
And you
for
did
being
just
here.
remind me, Jason, I apologize. One more alteration, which will certainly beg your attention then, is on the sign itself, the theater sign, we do have a tagline that we use, which is real advantages for real people. And we talked to the artist about potentially having that message on the marquee sign within the theater. That's the only thing that it is a little self-serving for us, that we would propose to add that tagline onto the marquee, like Advia presents real advantages for real people. So if you feel that that is over the line and we shouldn't do that, just let us know.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So I'll open the floor for discussion, I guess. Jody.
I have a couple of things. There may be a concern from the city if you put Advia up there or your tagline, simply because we are not supposed to be promoting
Okay.
signs that are specific to a business or to their product. So that would be something I would say, maybe we pass that forward to the city commission to get their idea. Or it may actually be, I don't know, maybe maybe code enforcement would know. I'm not sure who exactly would know. A couple of things. I love it. I love the idea of the mural. Thank you for bringing it to us. I would say, if you guys are still not sure about the car, in Royal Oak and on Woodward, this part of the whole cruising thing with muscle cars, you're talking more late 60s into the early 70s. And the car that's in there now is like a late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
So that might make it a little more specific to the area and a little, my husband not
Oh,
me.
nice.
I don't know.
So
Yeah.
late 60s, early 70s.
I would say late 60s, early 70s is where you're going to get into the American muscle cars that people think of, where it's like, you know, a GTO or a Barracuda or a Mustang or something.
Mhm.
Doesn't that
And
look like
then
your husband's car, by the way?
it kind of does. It's later than his. He has a 55 Ford, so it's about the same color. It's that aqua, but that aqua is more of a 50s, late 50s, early 60s color. And then the other question I had, and please jump in with me, other members, if you think the one marquee. I think the one is the Royal Oak Theater. Is the other one the Birmingham? Is it the Birmingham Theater? And is
Looks
that
like it.
This is where
Yeah.
I'm really embarrassed because I did
Yeah.
not do my homework
Oh,
before joining this call. I
no,
know that
and
they
that's
are-
okay. That's okay. And that was the only question I had, is if it's a more of a Royal Oak centered
I
mural.
believe that both of the theaters are in your area, in the Royal Oak area, but I apologize. I do not know the names.
That's
of
okay.
the-
But that was
of-
just, that was my other question was, you know, if we're gonna make it Royal Oak specific, then we probably don't want to be taking a landmark from another city and putting it on the building.
Okay.
But again, artistic impression is all, you know. So I think those were my comments.
Thank you, Jody. Melissa.
Yeah, picture, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead, Denise.
No, go ahead.
It's not-
I just,
Denise.
I didn't raise my hand. I just started talking. So go ahead.
so it's a good thing we're friends. I sent out a note in the chat that links to her mural page on her website. You might want to take a look at it. It shows a mural that has some building architecture as well as a vehicle on it, so you can see what her adaptation of it is. You might propose to the artist that she use the main art theater that's a Royal Oak theater as well as our Royal Oak Music Theater, because that looks to me also like the Birmingham Theater. And then we would be keeping it about Royal Oak and theaters, just not the same theater.
Oh, yes. that would be
Style,
fine. Can you
or
say again those names?
Well,
would-
in our community, we have Stage Crafters, which is a theater for like human beings making acting and music and some other things, but mostly human beings acting. The one you have here is the Royal Oak Music Theater, which is music. And then we have another place called the Main Art Theater that's been an icon in our community for independent film and arts.
Okay.
So those would be ones I would consider if I were making art about a theater district in our community.
Thank you.
And I would also recommend, only because I used to get paid by Ford Motor Company, that if you're going to put the GM building there, that your car be a Ford. Because you're
Okay.
probably playing nice with both your people then, but that's
Okay.
only my opinion and that's not the group's opinion. But
Not to
it would
mention
be,
some sponsorship dollars you could potentially talk to, you know,
well, that's
get
another
some of it
thing.
underwritten.
Right. Ooh. And
Nancy's
you know,
gonna be renting that parking lot behind the building. for the
yeah.
dream cruise.
Okay, anyway, sorry, that's all I wanted to say about that. Very
you.
cool. How fun.
By the way, Nancy, these are all just ideas from our committee. Like just knowing that this is a sort of corporate endeavor for you guys. So, like sometimes somebody just presents an abstract piece of art or something to us, but just knowing about all of the sort of community pieces that are involved in this, we're just trying to give you
Absolutely.
some
No, I appreciate that input.
Denise, you had a thought.
Yes. I can't exactly picture where this is, but I like the idea of lights. The only thing I would worry is their neighborhood right there. You know, you got to watch.
Yeah, across the street is Jack's Car Wash. So like
okay.
I'm looking, when you look at the picture, you're looking from the perspective of you, if you were at Jack's Car Wash,
Okay.
looking
Okay.
at the building. And then, yes, to your point, there are neighborhoods, I believe, in the back surrounding the building. But that's a good point. That
Just-
we
just
want to
to
take that
consider.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of lit up at night too. That's
Yeah,
pretty
we
cool.
thought it might give it a little bit more life.
Yeah. That's all I had. I think it's great.
All right, thank you. And one thing I will say too, since I felt like when I saw in the email that the actual presentation to the commission or to your town might be the May 24th. Is that what you said?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because if that's the case, we would probably have we could have a newer rendition of the piece from the artist.
Beautiful. And that's us getting things moving as fast as we can here, because I know we've been talking about this for a couple months now, so I want to make sure that we got it on the agenda tonight, and then got you sort of our approval for this phase of things, and then you might be able to get Carol, who's in the Abraham Lincoln Square there.
Well, I can answer a couple of questions about the city commission. And when you said you want to start in June, I really would like to put you on the May 24th meeting. I know that's rushing, and so she can just change the car a little bit. And I think the color of the flowers is,
Yeah.
I can mention that in the cover letter to the city commission. I have a feeling that would not be a deal killer at all.
Okay, yeah, I figured
Um,
that, and she can also present 2 renditions, one with and one without the requested, like Advia Credit Union presents Real Advantage for Real People, like, so like we could maybe show them 2, and then if they're not pleased with if they feel like we're too self-serving in that marquee sign, then they could maybe, if they would do this, they could look at 2 different options maybe of the piece.
And if I can suggest to you, maybe you just put the tagline and don't put Advia presents.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
would probably get by.
Okay,
And it does, our building inspector does have a lot of say in what he considers to be advertisement. And I know one of the businesses that has a mural is called River Rouge Brewery. And their mural, of course, is of the river, and on it they write River Rouge, but they don't put the name of the they don't put brewery anywhere near River Rouge.
got it.
And he kind of had heartburn about that. So
Okay,
that's
got it.
why I think if you just put your tagline and don't
All
put
right.
Advia presents, you'll be in the clear.
All right, thank you for that insight.
And by the way, it might even end up on the consent agenda, right, Carol?
Yes, that's exactly where I will put it. But I will have Jason and Nancy and any of the other members of the Commission for the Arts who'd like to attend in the waiting room in case it gets pulled. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if we don't put it on this agenda, the next city commission meeting isn't until June 14th. And I feel like that's going to be really tough for you to meet your August 21 completion date.
Got it.
So that's why I'd rather go forward with it. I feel most of our commission is very much pro art. So I don't envision it getting pulled off of the agenda as long as we're really solid. And I actually already have the cover letter to the city commission written. So I just edit
Thank you.
it depending on what happens tonight. So I can add some of the things you just mentioned, and if you have that updated version, that would be amazing. And what else can I add? As far as the lighting, I wouldn't mention that because that would be something that our community development and code would work you through afterward.
Okay.
So let's just get the painting up and work through the lighting afterward.
Got it. Okay.
And
Carol, are
And
you
again,
saying
that was just a thought, you know what I mean? That's not.
no,
something-
I love it. And I
Uh-huh.
know there's going to be specifications that you'll have to follow. So
Mhm.
I don't want to see the painting get held up on the minutia of that when that can be done afterward and just that's going to be like you pulling a permit to put the lighting on your building. That's really all it should be. So I would rather not cloud the mural issue with that, if that makes sense to everybody.
Carol,
Yeah.
you said Jason, does that mean you need me on the call with the commission?
Well, I mean, definitely Nancy and maybe a member of the Commission for the Arts, or, if you guys are confident enough in me doing it, or if you want to have representatives there to speak to the city commission, should it get pulled. I will also add the May 24th agenda is pretty full. So adding something like this, let's just like positive all the way around, is not likely to get pulled off of consent,
Unless they want to make sometimes they might
right.
get excited about talking about something positive
Yeah,
like
draw
this.
attention to something like this. That might be something, but And I love your idea of doing an unveiling close to the drink
Yeah.
cruise. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's an opportunity where we could invite you back to invite the city commission to that and draw attention to it
Yes.
that way at a meeting. You know,
Mhm.
like in late July when the meetings aren't like, the agendas are pretty light then. We'll time it just right.
All right.
So, hearing all of this discussion, I would love to entertain a motion from someone, if there should be one, to approve this, pending Nancy's changes to Carol here and getting it to the city commission next week. Does anybody have that motion in front of
I'll
us?
take that motion.
Denise, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Alicia, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Jody,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Alicia, everybody in my driveway. Okay. Only kidding. Looks like we just approved that. So there you go.
All right. Well, thank you all very, very much. I think my contact information is in the application. And then my next to do will be to reach out to the artist one more time, provide this feedback, and see if we can get an updated rendition over quickly that can be a part of the application submitted for the 24th. And then, yes, if you want to send me an invite for that, I will be more than excited to attend.
And Nancy, Carol, I believe you have her contact info as
Yes.
well, but
Mhm.
Carol's going to be your point of contact with the city, I believe. Is that right, Carol?
Correct.
That is correct.
Sounds-
Love it. Boom.
All right. Well, thank you
team.
all again. I really appreciate your time.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Nancy.
Look at that.
Is that it? We
Community
done?
at work. Yeah, it might be. No, I think, by the way, I didn't, hold on a second. Let me find this agenda. That one. Okay, back here.
This is weird.
We do have another proposal, and then
Oh, the sculpture.
we do, but
Okay.
Alicia just sent me something, and I didn't see that on the agenda, so we might have to talk about that either way.
Is it a party? Is there cake?
No. But it would end up in a subcommittee chat anyway, so I think we're good. All right, so we put that at the top. I didn't ask for public comment, but we don't have any public comment tonight.
Sadly, no one is here.
All right, so next on the agenda, approval of minutes from April. I would love to entertain a motion for that.
I can do that.
There we go.
I'm going to give
All of it.
Alicia and Jody the second on that one, and all in favor. Jody,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Alicia. Done. We've approved those minutes. All right, good. Financial update. I don't think there's an update. New business. Oh, new business is number 7, which is Alicia. Let's go to you.
So those of you who remember our last meeting, I would like to propose a sort of a summer outreach program, kind of. I did send you guys all the proposal, but I sent it like 2 minutes before the meeting, so I'm sure no one saw it because that's how things go in my life. But I'm gonna just read a little bit to you guys from it, and then we can discuss. So let me pull it up. All right, so I'd love to do the hashtag RO Makes Art Summer Art Challenge for Royal Oak. A lot of our summer projects and events that we normally do to build community in Royal Oak are, still kind of sitting on the back burner due to the global events of the pandemic. And so I propose a set of citywide arts challenges that presents opportunities for residents to create freely and share and converse and celebrate with one another through social media platforms. So it would be my hope to release 7 art challenges during the summer. These challenges could include painting without paint, cooking from scratch, composing a jingle for Royal Oak, making art from nature, choreographing a dance, making a puppet and putting on a show, building a musical instrument. I've got a long list of ideas on the proposal that you're welcome to look through. And then I would want to release maybe one challenge every 2 weeks through the summer. So like starting near the end of June and maybe going through to the end of September or around then. We would do maybe short video clips or PDF flyers that are posted on city social media to announce each challenge. And that with the hope that residents will then share on social media using the hashtag what they create. And then we could have that be shared on social media, like city social media. So maybe we choose a few and sort of post them and share them. Maybe, I know we talked about last time, maybe actually printing physical posters of people's art and sort of plastering areas in the city. There's lots of different ways we could sort of share what people are making and just get excited as a community for the arts. So that's my idea. I kind of listed like a timeline and some possible needs. I would love to have, I'm happy to lead this, but I would love to have somebody else sort of team up with me, or more someone else's team up with me, depending on people's interest. And I think it could be really great. So I'd love to hear thoughts.
Who's got thoughts? Jody first.
Awesome. Yay. Proud of you.
There's first thought. Melissa, you're next.
So does that mean we can use 2020 budget to help give these people some awards so they want to participate?
I would say so.
That
We
would,
might have to vote on that.
well, I just bring it up because historically, I think we would have better participation if we gave them something. I don't know what that something is. but-
So I can think of two things we need to think about. One is like Alicia managing this in some way. Like it's basically just 7 art prompts, right? So that part you probably already have done. I can't get into the document because you shared it to, I have a different Gmail account than something else. So so I can't look at the document just yet. The other piece is the city communication piece for and whether or not we can align some of those assets to this. So that's a question for Carol and Judy, I think. And potentially the PR firm for the DDA that I was on a call with 3 hours ago. So at least we could possibly put this into their lap too. So Carol, do you have thoughts about this?
She escaped to the other desk.
She
I think
must have, yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag name, so I'll take that as a yes.
I had a
All
thought
right.
about the financial part. Is that potentially we could do something with the DDA that was similar to the Royal Oak Bucks, where we could maybe some of the merchants and stuff downtown or within the city, where we could work with the DDA to have, if somebody needs supplies, they can go in and there's a $10 or a $15 or whatever, trying to encourage people to do this kind of on the cheap, to be creative and not spend a ton of money. But, you know, if you need markers or if you need paint pens or if you need, you know, paper or something, there are places where you can go and you just have to get a code or whatever, and you can get X amount on credit to buy some supplies for the.
I like that idea. I'm hesitant to the administration of said activity.
Yeah, well, that's why I brought up the downtown dollars, because I know Sean did that, and I know Sean is left, but I think that one is being managed by I don't even know, a group where they had a pot of money, and then the management of it isn't up to the merchants or anything. It's simply, you know, you claim your
Yeah.
thing. Yifty.
Yifties. So
Yifty.
Carol,
Yeah.
Carol asked if we had a question. Carol, so I don't know how much of Alicia's proposal you might have heard, but
Most of
but-
it. I heard most of it. Sounds
Okay.
really cool.
so I guess that I mentioned while you were away that there's two issues. One is the prompts themselves and what we what we tell the community to do, and then
Mhm.
how do we tell the community to do that, and then sort of manage that. So that piece comes down to you guys as a city staff, or what resources we might have to communicate this hashtag, art, Royal Oak
Yeah.
makes art program.
We've done
What
a
do you-
couple of the hashtag challenges, so Judy could definitely do that on social media. We did it last year, in fact, for Memorial Day, since we weren't having a parade. If you'll recall, we sold T-shirts and asked people to wear their Oaks Stand Strong
yeah.
T-shirts and post pictures of themselves with the hashtag. So we could definitely do that. That's not a problem at all.
And we could probably get the school district to get behind it too, right?
Uh,
Beautiful.
It be up to their communication person, but they have a really strong communication.
So
pro-
I think it's a great effort. Now the next question becomes, so in terms of those dollars or things like that, like knowing how much effort it would take any staffer or anybody to manage something like that. We're down a city attorney. We're down Sean, and Sean was supposed to get an assistant, so we don't have that assistant yet. So and then they're tearing down one city hall, and they just got the new one, and the pandemic's ending. And so I can only imagine it would be a little bit to manage on that respect. But I feel like we should put some money into a pot of prizes or something, right? And do we have the ability to give out like sort of stipends for awardees, or like to pick some winners and give out some money?
I mean, I think it would be fun to do it as more like prizes, because my hope would be that it would be less about making the most beautiful art and more about getting creative and having fun and being just being like a comfortable environment to make art, in the community, and not so much like I'm an amazing artist. I mean, of course we want that too, but also the people who maybe aren't amazing artists, who are just having a lot of fun painting mud on their driveway, like whatever it is. So I would be more going along with the Yifty dollars. It wouldn't have to be Yifty dollars, but maybe it is just money that we buy gift cards to local downtown stores, restaurants, so that we're also re-supporting our own downtown and celebrating our community again in that way, would be my suggestion.
I love it. So the only farmers market has bucks, is what Carol says in the chat. So the only question there is, from a city staff perspective, how would we manage, like if we had let's say we put a $500 into the pot for each of those 7 prompts, and then that's $500 that we could give to one person, or we could give worth of stuff to one person, or we could give $10 prizes to 50 people that did something awesome for that prompt, right? So I don't feel like we need to get too into the weeds of the minutia of each thing in this meeting, but there could be a subcommittee that works with Alicia to sort of, every time we put out one of those prompts, 2 weeks later you meet and you pick out some winners and we give away something. The question is, how do we give away those things, and are we allowed to for Carol?
Judy has done it before. We had poster contests for Memorial Day Parade one year, and she's had other things where it's like a call to action, and 10 random, you just get a random generator and generate 10 random winners or 5 random winners, whatever you want. And yeah, you could give away a little prize. I mean, you could buy, if you're going for inclusion and participation, I would say $5 or $10 gift certificates, so you can maximize the number you can spend, and just go purchase them at, the stores that you want to purchase them at, $5 from Brugger's, $5 from Atomic, $5 from Desert Oasis, and, maybe maybe you do one of two things. You can either let the winners pick what they want, or you just have a random, you have them randomly in an envelope, and when they win, they contact you, give you, or contact us and give us an address, and we mail them out. And again, it's just random. So whatever one comes up, you get. It's $5 somewhere. I mean, either way, it's fun if it's downtown places. I mean, you're not going to have anything bad in downtown Royal Oak. Some things you might like more, like Golden Cone or something like that. But yeah, it's
I mean,
just easy
not
enough.
to change this part, but I will say, well, downtown's important, but we are all of Royal Oak Arts here too. So we could have, Ray's Ice Cream, or we could have
Yeah.
what's the art place on Woodward? Blick, right?
Yeah.
They're not.
Just all sorts
it
of
could-
fun things.
Yeah.
So we could put, does that seem like the right amount of money? $3,500 towards an effort like this?
I have no idea. It sounds
I have
great.
no idea. Yeah,
mean, it's-
I like the small increments.
Me
I like
too.
getting them to as many people as possible, because I'm thinking kids, we want to encourage, I'm thinking it's going to be mostly kids. And the reason that I kind of brought up the ahead of time is because I personally don't see this as a contest. I see this as a collaboration. And I if I were to, like, say, do every one of the, if I were 10 and doing all of the things and I didn't win anything, my summer would kind of suck. But if I knew that, just by participating, I was going to get something from Golden Cone, or I was going to get, back when you used to read the books and then you'd get something from McDonald's, it was like, I'm going to read 15 books because I won all the fries. But so anyway, yeah.
I love it. And I mean, there could be we could pick some people, like we mentioned, like we could pick some people to blow up their artwork gigantic and put it somewhere interesting. Or that's the other thing I thought about, Carol, is the city does have access to some billboards, like digital billboards or something, doesn't it?
I think that expired that was part of a lawsuit settlement, and I think it may have expired. And when you see digital signs now, like I have seen them on 75 and 696, those are usually purchased from the DDA has purchased those sites. But I
Gotcha.
can ask, but I'm quite sure it expired because we were using it for a lot of things, and
Well,
that's what happened.
I mean, we could potentially worry about that later, but we might be able to get some other interesting things to happen with some people's artwork or something. That so when you're going through the hashtags after a couple weeks of a prompt, we could maybe catalog those in a spreadsheet somewhere, and there might be the ability to at the end of the summer they end up somewhere fun. Whether it's the farmers market or whether it's on the side of City Hall and we ask them to paint the whole building. Kidding, but it could be any number of those things. So I think that the first step is getting it started. So I would entertain a motion to move this effort forward and dub Alicia the chairperson of said committee. Melissa?
I would like to support that and indeed do that. In
Look at that,
fact, I'll
there's-
help you, Alicia.
Oh, so motion from Melissa. Is there support for that?
Yeah.
Denise,
Yes.
all right. I love it. All in favor. Jody,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Melissa.
Oh, are we making art? Yes.
Awesome. Alicia, I could ask for your vote, but like we've already voted yes. So I'm kidding. Alicia.
Yes.
All right. So we got a new effort. 7 prompts every couple weeks this summer. We probably need that small committee to interface with Carol or Judy or someone Carol thinks we should interface with the city to sort of make a roadmap. Does that make s-
You can contact me, and then anything we need from Judy, I'll communicate to her.
Are we able to have a small meeting?
Yeah. You missed that announcement, but yes, we are starting
Okay.
to get groups to meet in person, so absolutely you can.
So,
You could come to
Um,
City Hall, you could come in City Hall.
I've never been there yet, so it'll be great. Alicia, do you want to take charge of setting up a meeting with Carol? I can be a part of this, at least from a mind melting perspective, or just like help connect some of the dots, because I do sit on the consumer marketing committee for the DDA, and we might be able to get Tim to maybe help direct a little bit of that while Sean's out of the picture now. But and then like I said, by the end of the summer, we might be able to have some other cool thing to do with some of the standout pieces of art, maybe.
Could we
Yes.
even consider putting them on Grant Park right down the street from my house? We still have those hooks hanging up there. That might be something worth keeping on the table, because now that you took that stuff down, I would like something new.
And we'll have 2 more parks in our town by the end of the summer too,
Right.
like Normandy and then the downtown park too. So there's just going to be more opportunities there. And downtown is now going to be a drink district for a while, at least through the summer. So I know they have to make a bunch of signage to put on the ground for that. I heard earlier in a meeting, like those sticker things on the ground. Maybe we put some stickers of some kids' artwork on the ground. That'd be kind of fun. All right, so we have a new program. Did we allocate money in that motion? Is that what we just did? So
We talked about $3,500.
I don't even know how much money we have, but I'm guessing there's $3,500 somewhere. Carol, can we allocate $3,500 to that with another motion?
Yeah, sure. And I'm not sure how much you have either, but I'm pretty sure you have well enough, because you've only spent on the mural so far this year.
So I would entertain a motion to approve $500 for each of the 7 prompts. Does anybody have that motion for us? Jody,
So
second.
move.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
I'm gonna. Denise is batting her eyelashes. I'm gonna take that as a second.
I was waving, I was out of screen.
Okay. All
I was sending Morse code.
right. I'm gonna go backwards this time. Alicia, all in favor.
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Jody.
Yes.
Boom! Look at that. We just spent $3,500 on our town and encouraging a bunch of people to have a fun artistic summer. Championed by our favorite Royal Oak art teacher, Alicia Beisler. Boom. Go team. Look at that. New program off the ground. And a simple one, right? Other people do all the work. We just get to have fun. Encouraging and supporting that. All right. So that gets us through the new business. Unless there's any other new business. Any other new business?
I just have something to like throw out there. Nothing crazy. I've talked with a woman from the Henry Ford, and they're looking for ways to put art in their new building. They're going to have some students. Some of my students are making art for the building right now, but they also were interested in talking with some groups about doing some, maybe rotating art, or which I said, we're a group that does that. So I'd like to just put it out there that maybe I'm going to meet with her this week and just talk to see what she's actually interested in. And then maybe I could invite her to the next meeting, if that sounds good with everyone.
Is that when you said Henry Ford, you mean the hospital, the new building there? Or you mean Henry Ford in Dearborn?
The hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, let us know what you find out.
Yes, I will.
Go team. I feel like I should do this. Like, oh my God, I gotta hold up the walls. It's a weird Brady Bunch land. I'm losing it. It's been a year. All right, we're gonna move on. Public art explored Blue Vector proposed art installation for artist David Petrokovitz. Boom. what did we need to do with this one?
Put it
We
at my
approved-
house.
Yeah, right. We approved lengthening the
Isn't
other
this
one
yeah,
last time. Oh, this is the replacement.
is this the replacement or the same one?
So
I'm
you
not sure.
approved, you approved, extending for his other one, Quixote's Visions, which the city commission then approved that. So you're gonna have that one for another year. And then you voted to see if he had other works for another site. So this was the only one that he sent me, was the Blue Vector. So you're voting if you want to give him an Art Explored contract for this one, and then I guess discussing where you might want to put it.
All right. Any motions on the table? Anybody? Anybody?
I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Moved by
Do
Alicia,
we-
second by Melissa. Now I'll open the floor for discussion. Thoughts?
Do we have some spots? I mean, I know we have loads of spots, but the one thing Pat was talking about last time was maybe considering other parks outside of the center of downtown. I don't want to say that because I live right here, but in all the same token, there are other places. Is there room in the other parks for us to consider putting that there? And how do we find that out?
Jody.
Well, we'd have to probably ask Parks and Rec, DPS, I would guess. We also talked about potentially putting it in one of the new buildings so that it gave
Right.
them some color. My only question for putting it in another park is, do we have any more of those bases? Because we'd probably have to install the base, as opposed to putting it on existing concrete, which we have a lot of downtown. And
Even
then,
so, we would still
yeah.
use a base even on the concrete, just so you know. I
okay,
believe, yeah.
well, okay,
At least that's what we've done in the past with these. Is it
Mhm.
ended up on one of those pieces of those bases sitting on wherever. we
yeah.
put it.
Did we find out whether we have any extras of those, or do they have to be cast as we need them?
I did not, that was my bad. I'll send Aaron an email right now.
No worries. So Carol, would you be comfortable if we were to approve that as a piece of artwork for Art Explored, and then we try to figure out from you bases, and then maybe we should spend 3 more minutes talking about where we all think it should end up. Should it end up downtown near new city complexes and things like that, or should it end up somewhere else in the city?
I have one more question too, quickly, about, are we going to call this part of Art Explored, or is this a separate thing since he came to us with that? Because Art Explored has always been put out to artists,
Yeah.
right? So I'm just wondering, this is kind of a separate, he offered us a piece that we could display.
Um,
Jody, the only question I would have would be, then you'd have to start getting into doing a license agreement instead of just using the standard Art Explored. It did, to refresh your memory, it did spring from an Art Explored discussion where he initially offered 3 things: to extend, to exchange, or just to stop.
Right.
You guys wanted to take the second step of keeping what we had, because we didn't think a lot of people probably saw it last summer, and adding another one. So I know it didn't go through the usual channels, but again, it would facilitate getting the art to the public sooner if we used an Art Explored contract rather than having to
Yeah.
wait for the new city attorney to get here and making a license agreement.
And no, that's perfect. That's a perfect answer, because I'm wondering at that point if it's just easier to amend his existing contract, or
Well,
to do it as an addendum type of thing, since he's already in Art Explored.
his existing one is getting, was already approved to be amended for the time period. So the second one would just be a straight up
Okay.
approval on the consent agenda.
Perfect. Perfect. No, that was my question. That answers it beautifully. So that if anybody says, "But you didn't do Art Explored this year," it's like, "But the artist came to us, and he's already an Art Explored artist. It was just an add-on contract." So that was my question. Thank you.
My only question is, I believe Art Explored, we've gotten money from the DDA for that project over the years, so we might want to think it ended. I think it ending up downtown is probably best in that from that perspective. So we would just need to know, do we have a base? Yes, Alicia.
I would just counter that, I guess, with I'd love to see it in a downtown area, maybe that is more of a green space. Only because I love his work, and I think that when it's surrounded by city buildings and geometric structures, it actually takes away from the playfulness of it. And just seeing it in front of the trees in that picture makes me just like, my heart jumps, because it's just so much better to see it surrounded by the organic material. So I would love for us to consider finding a space maybe that would highlight, just
Got an
highlight.
idea. We had this idea of a sculpture park at 696 in Woodward, or in Main Street, sorry. Like maybe it could end up on that piece of grass, and it'd be sort of a like a hey, maybe this is a good spot, and people are like, well, that's cool, and then it inspires more people to put sculptures
It's an
there. What do you think?
appetizer, an art-petizer.
Appetizer.
Can you paint it the orange color from the city logo? That's
From the city. Just add a little accent, a little orange. I like it. I like it.
So I think our vote would be to add this to our Art Explored program, and as such give the artist an honorarium for that. And then we just need, from a logistic perspective, it to get through city commission. And then Carol, do you think we could get that in that piece of grass down at 696, that sort of half circle piece of grass with the trees around it at 696 and Main Street?
I can ask Paul what the procedure would be for us putting it there. So
You understand what I'm
I
saying?
don't know what the status is of that property, but I can ask.
I know Pat had done a little research when we were talking about that sculpture park, their
Okay.
idea to put there, and it would, I don't know, that would be a big piece of grass, and it's sort of an entrance to the city, and it might be an interesting way for us to encourage art.
Well, what I'll do is email Pat with Paul CC'd on it, since she's done some research.
Beautiful. I don't remember if it was us that owned it, or if it's the state, MDOT, or if we have. So I'm sure our city people mow that, so it might be ours.
I think it's MDOT, but we have a license, or we have an agreement with them that we maintain it, and we can, I don't know, potentially down the road buy it.
I think there's some spots there that are MDOT and some spots that are the city, because we oftentimes get complaints about the grass length. And it's because we've cut our area and MDOT hasn't cut theirs. So I think we do own some of it, but I'm not certain which part. Like I said, I'll include Pat if she's done the research, because she'll know.
Love it. And honestly, like, I think the ultimate goal, at least as I heard it from Alicia, is we'd love to present that piece of artwork in more of a natural setting versus concrete. So knowing that the new Centennial Park is not going to be done yet, maybe this piece, that might be a better spot for this piece. And I know that spot is still, there's a strip down the middle of the road that makes that DDA domain. So we sort of are still in the spirit of Art Explored being a DDA sponsored project. Does all that make sense? So any further discussion before I call for the vote? All right, Jody.
Yes.
Alicia.
Yes.
Melissa.
Yes.
Denise.
Yes.
So moved. Look at that. A new piece of artwork. I've not been writing anything down, by the way. So I don't know who's done what. That's okay.
I've caught a couple and I'll catch the rest on the recording.
You are the best. All right, so we got that one done. And then let me go back to my agenda I have pulled up here.
Artist laureate, which is,
I don't think we have anything for the Artist Laureate program. There's nothing for the public piano project. Denise, anything from sharing for the warmth or sharing the warmth?
closed.
It's closed, but Unique Knits called me and I have literally half of my car is filled with donated yarn. So I'm going to put something out on the Share the Warmth Facebook page, hoping that people will come. I can meet them, whatever, they can pick their yarn and, start knitting over the summer. But it's an amazing, I'll take some photos. It's an amazing donation.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Remember that in a second when we get to public, or like how we want to communicate this month, because I think that's something we should communicate. All right. Performance art no summer concert series as per Pat last month. Although I will say every other city has summer concerts going on. Just so you know. I noticed half the acts that play in our city are playing in Huntington Woods. Moving on. Sculpture garden project, that's what we're talking about in terms of maybe inspiring that by putting a piece of sculpture there already. That could be interesting. I hope Rick doesn't get mad at us if we did that, because it's not exactly the pieces he was talking about, but it is an artist that he has one of their pieces in his on his line. So
We could always cue him in. Somebody reach out to Rick and just let him know that we're talking about doing this as a way to kind of entice people into the concept. So positive spin.
love it. Finance and community engagement. Hold on. I think this is our community. That's sharing the warmth should be our community engagement. Does that sound? Well, that's one of them, and then the other one would be if we got this prompt thing off the ground, right? So there's a couple things we could try to get off the ground. And I believe that would just be one, you doing the Facebook stuff for the Facebook page, but we might be able to get Judy to echo that too in the city communications. So
yeah, I think it'd be good because the Facebook page we use for that project, it's a closed group, so it wouldn't be citywide. So that would be good if it can go wider somehow.
Can you be in touch with Carol and Judy about that?
Yep.
Beautiful. And then that'll give them another cool thing to highlight about what's going on. And then Alicia's we're going to be in touch with Carol anyway about this other project. So we'll get them some info about that stuff. Celebration of the arts. Melissa.
Got nothing.
Here we
Sorry,
go.
friends. No concerts, no fun. Soon.
Love it. All right. So, and then the unfinished business is the Parks Proud Art Contest. I don't have anything myself. Does anybody else have anything about that one? We'll wait for Melanie and the team from the Parks Board, right? For that one. That one's later in the summer, if I'm not mistaken, right? Their thing is later in the summer. Remember they came a few months ago.
I thought it was throughout this summer. But maybe it's something that could work hand in hand with Royal Oak Makes Art.
I bet ours gets off the ground first. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure, but then they probably want to piggyback with us. That's all.
We're paying for both of them. So
Yeah, right. Exactly.
that'll be great. All right. So there's not much to deal with there. So that brings us to the end of our agenda. I don't think there's anything else. Anybody else have anything else?
So
All right.
Jason, before you
Yes.
adjourn, you missed at the beginning of the meeting when I did say that we are having some smaller groups starting to meet in person. So you can do a couple of things. You could have a meeting here at City Hall in the conference room or the city commission room, or you could have a hybrid meeting. We've had a couple of those as well, where we have a Zoom meeting in case there's a member who needs to call in. And members who want to be here in person can be here in person, and we broadcast from the conference room. So we could do either of those for your June meeting if you are interested in starting to get into in-person meetings. It depends on what you're comfortable with and what your board's comfortable with. So you don't have to decide tonight either. I just want to put it out there before you adjourn. And we can just set the meeting date as the third Monday. And then we can put the site on the city's website later on when you decide.
Anybody have thoughts?
I mean, I'm willing to meet in person if people are willing.
Me as well. We're a small group, big enough room. I'm good.
Yeah.
There we go. I hope to be in town that day. I might be out of town that day, but either way, I think the general consensus is an in-person meeting might be fun. I know we have 2 members not here yet, but so we might have to, I don't know. Does that
Why
make
don't I
sense?
set it up as a hybrid meeting then? We'll meet in conference room 122. I'll do a Zoom webinar as well. And that way, Jason, if you're out of town, you can still call in and participate. And those who want to be in person will be in person in the conference room. We've done that with the Veterans Events Committee the last 3 weeks in a row. It's worked out really well.
I love it. Look at that. We just did a bunch of fun art stuff tonight in only an hour and 5 minutes. New mural. We got a new project. We funded some things, a new piece of artwork in a sculpture park, possibly someday. Like, boom, making moves. I would entertain a motion to adjourn if there was one. Jody, seconded by
Second.
Alicia.
Everybody.
Pay no attention to the trash cans rolling past me here. All in favor, Jody,
Yes.
Alicia,
Yes.
Melissa.
Yes.
And before I get to Denise, I would just like to thank Carol again for all your your hard work, Carol. Thank you for helping us with all
Thanks,
this.
Carol.
Woohoo.
No problem.
Denise,
Yes.
we are so adjourned. Look at that. Thank you, Carol, for all your help. And
See you guys
Let me-
next week.
good times. Let me know if you need me for anything.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.